You're on the intro. That is the intro now.
I know.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the latest episode of the Team Infinity podcast. Where Mo is trying to get his subtitle for his name on the video portion ready to go because Cody was shaming him for it.
Yeah, I'll come up with a good one eventually.
You gotta click the gear and go to profile.
Oh no, I know how. I just don't know what.
I don't believe you
right now.
Okay, just make it #1 green purple player.
That's not true.
Okay.
What are you gonna say? You're the #1 green purple player?
I don't know. I'm just saying. You never know.
He's saying you don't know because he wants to keep that slot open for himself.
What if green purple Jesus is out there and we just don't know yet?
Oh my God, this went from like kind of a funny little haha, like behind the scenes, like as we're getting ready rolling bit to like this is like way super unhinged, off the rails, like right from the get go.
Right. Scrap it. I'm gonna use restrooms.
Scrap it.
No, I'm not scrapping it. We don't edit. We don't cut. We just keep rolling. That's the.
All right, then y'all are coming with me.
But anyways, no, we're back for another episode. Big CCS tournament last weekend. I imagine most people are familiar with the results of that one. Zan brought Amber Amethyst, which is very funny because we had talked about the behind the scenes of us building our Amber Amethyst decks that we didn't quite have the handle on yet. And he clearly did figure it out. And so
yeah, I immediately texted Zach in the morning and said, release the video right now. We have to get into this.
Yeah, Saturday morning when I texted the team chat and I was like, yeah, so Zan's on Amber Amethyst. He was like, release the video, but I didn't have my computer or a way to like update the schedule. And I actually forgot to like pre-post it. If I had pre-posted it, I probably could have like changed the schedule to just release it, but I hadn't done that. But anyways, long story short, there's another big tournament. We're going to discuss the tournament, going to discuss how all of that went, what we think that's going to do to the meta going forward, because we talked about before we started, we think that's like the last big tournament before the Richmond DLC. So there won't be a ton of more data to like, sway the overall, population and metagame. I guess there was the PPG 10K this weekend, and it wasn't anything like super earth shattering though. It was, purple steel and dogs were the top of the lists for a lot of those that I saw. But anyways, yeah, so there's not going to be a lot of, updates to the meta between now and Richmond. And so we think this is going to have, a pretty decent impact on it. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to, do the normal stuff, and then we're going to go from there. So with that said, who wants to jump in first and talk about this? I think, Matt, you were probably the closest to this in your list when we talked about in our last video about us kind of behind the scenes building some of this stuff. So looking at kind of Zan's list and the overall thoughts and kind of his approach to it, what do you think, and how close we were, I guess?
I mean, we weren't really close in the sense of we weren't really on combo. I mean, I had monsters in my deck, but we were more of like tempo and in the game with Scar plus make a wide board really fast.
But
well, I was going to say, I feel like the sad part is we all talked about the combo at least at some moment.
Yeah,
that was the interesting part. We were all doing it and we're like, nah, we don't need it.
The original list I sent to Hayden to get started testing this was the combo, and he just didn't want to test it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is, like you say, we weren't very close, but I think we were. The difference is just the way that we finished the game. Like the early game and like the mid game, like board control / being able to use Lantern as a resource advantage with all of the Amethyst strong mid-game characters like Genie and Cheshire Cat and Elsa and Hades and Demona. Like all of that was the exact same as what we were trying to do. I think the difference is that, again, he just came up with the consistent finisher of the combo and making that be a thing. And so I actually think we were 85-90% there. It was just ultimately like us putting in the time to try it, kind of like you said, is that we didn't put the reps into it.
To be fair, we were having success without the combo, so it would have been hard to get on the combo if we were still winning games.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe that was to our detriment. I mean, I think we said in the last episode too that we had did have a lot of success, and I was very swingy. And I mean, I went in very, very big long runs with this list minus the combo, and just being able to really play all the power cards fast, but not I guess, like blow up your early game like Blurple has to do sometimes, because, sometimes Blurple isn't playing a 1-drop. If they are ramping on 2, most of the time it's Sail. And so they're just not playing anything where, where this deck has the ability to play something on 1, play something on 2. It also has 4 Cheshire Cats and a couple other 2-drops. And so even if you don't hit your quote, like Lantern/ramp, you still have like things to do. And so I think from that respect, it just can be a little bit more consistent than Blurple if, you miss your ramp or whatever. But anyways, I genuinely do think we were really close, and so I guess that's kind of cool, but also kind of frustrating because we were so close, and that could have potentially been us, kind of cracking through this. But yeah, I mean, I think it just gives a testament to kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff that we talked about in our last episode. Okay, well now everybody goes quiet. Mo, what are your thoughts on this?
So, hold on.
Mo,
okay,
for those not on the audio version, Mo is currently babysitting as well, and so he doesn't have his camera on because he's running.
Instrument of destruction does child help today?
Yeah, he's running around chasing his lovely daughter at the same time. So we thank Mo very much for taking the time to be with us this week.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here, y'all. I think it's just a testament to how ahead we've been. Every week we've known the next big thing to come. And I know we said none of us were really committing with like monstro-based strategies, but like we kind of, I posted one that's still an interesting take on the deck that I still think is really cool.
We all talked about it.
Just like, I do think it was a very amazing meta call, because the deck is one of the few decks that has a strong purple steel matchup, or a strong steel matchup in general. Blue steel has some outs to the monstro combo that I'll spare y'all my TED talk on, but I do think it is just fairly well positioned into steel, because you just play a 6/8 and say deal with it or I win. So no, it's a great call for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, I think it's to some people, or to the people that don't like put all of the time in, or again like see all the behind the scenes stuff that a lot of the more quote unquote pro players are doing. A lot of this isn't like off the radar of things that nobody else is trying. Luckily, we have the video that was recorded pre this coming out to kind of back up some of that talk. But the point I'm trying to make is like it didn't shock us all that much. I mean, I would imagine the public at large, we're like, oh my gosh, we can't believe this is coming. But once the word around the room at CCS started to go, then I wasn't personally shocked. I was like, well, we played it. This is kind of what they're doing.
It kind of justified us. We were like, oh yeah, these color combinations is not the worst deck in the format.
Yeah, I guess for quick recap too, I was the only one from the team that was able to go, and so I was in the room, and I with a couple like friends of the team. We're close friends with quite a few of the Snuggly Duckling group. And a couple other, like not local to us, but, in the same like kind of practice group, like surroundings that we have. And so with talking to all of them, I mean, they were all kind of curious about it. And I was like, look, we've been doing this for a couple weeks now too. And so we kind of talked about it just in case somebody did run into Zan or one of his friends that was also on the deck, to give them, just a little bit of like heads up as to what the mid game looks like. And then obviously like once we heard it was combo, it's like, okay, well, you have to stop the monstro. But yeah, it is just really validating, I guess, to again, just feel very confident in like our process and our ability to have some theories, craft those theories, refine those theories, and then, be able to go into a large event with something that we can feel confident has a lot of legs behind it, because we've, done the testing to be prepared for that. So, yeah, now everybody's quiet again. And so I'm just trying to
stop acknowledging it.
I mean,
something. What do you want me to say?
I don't know. It's just what are your thoughts?
I'm so glad this won instead of purple still.
Yeah, I mean, this to most point, it was very much meant to beat purple steel, and so like once the top cut quote unquote bracket was out, and you saw that Zan just had basically a purple steel run to the championship, it was kind of like, okay, well, this is his to lose at this point. If you didn't watch any of the CCS stream or haven't seen any of the CCS games, his top 4 or top 8 match, I think it's his top 8 match, against Green Blue was an absolute slugfest and just an extremely entertaining game to watch because it was back and forth so many times. And so that's probably one worth going to watch, just, to get some very high level gameplay and to see, the back and forths of what went on, because again, it was just a very, very, back and forth game and could have gone either way, and just kind of see the power of some of these decks. And honestly, like the thing I took away from that one is the ability to draw cards and the ability to, just really have a steady flow of resources. It is extremely important because he always had, the ability to do something powerful every turn, which, if you're not having to take turns off, it just continuously makes your opponent answer your board, which when you're a little bit of a faster deck, and playing against Green Blue, you're going to be the faster deck. It ends up being very vital. And so that was one I would definitely recommend and go back to watch if people, want to get some insights into some high level games, because those were great for sure. But I think, we kind of talked about overall going forward, what do we think this is going to be and how this is going to change things? And so I guess I'll pose that question is, going into Richmond or going into any big events. I mean, set champs are 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away from set champs right now. How do we think this is going to change the meta? Yeah, we're 2 weeks away. No, 3 weeks away from set champs. Yeah, 3 weeks away from set champs. How do we think that is going to change the meta for everybody going in and competing now? Matt, starting with you, since you're under me.
Okay, well, I think this deck will see a lot of play. I don't think it's like necessarily the easiest, because you gotta make sure you don't ink the pieces to do combo, and you gotta like keep a hand size. And I mean, there's also, I think Mo is testing this deck, and he was finding like sometimes you can't complete combos if you don't have certain pieces, or you don't have the hand size, or like a bunch of factors if you don't have the ink or. So I would definitely make sure your opponent can do combo before just scooping when they just drop. Well, when they have monstro plus the luminary, because I think.
So luminary or luminary?
Illuminary, right? Yeah. The great illuminary location, the new location that says.
I think y'all kept saying that. And I was like, "There's a luminary in this thing."
I don't know. The great illuminary, the new location that says you can exert a character while here to draw a card.
Yeah, because it's not just game, because they have to have like the correct cards in hand, or like the correct number.
Yeah, like you have to have. I made a great paint drawing of this.
Oh no.
I need to find. I'm going to switch. Yeah, I'm going to go find that and pull that up, because that is pretty funny.
Truth be told, if you have the time, always make your opponent resolve it. Like, you may have missed an ink and they could have missed a crucial combo piece. A lot of people are trying to do the deck with just 2 of the song and cut that down, and that's really risky, and there's a chance they slipped up.
Or if it's like your first time playing against it at Richmond, like at least make them do it the first game. Like, get a good understanding of what they just did to get that win. And then you will know if you need to like shortcut it later on.
Yeah, try to watch it happen before you get to Richmond, so you have a little bit of an idea. But shorthand, if they have location plus 2 other cards in hand at the start of their turn, it's most of the time gonna work.
Here we go. Moby Duck combo.
I don't even know
Step 1, you play Monstro. Step 2, you make Monstro draw your deck. As you can tell, he's a fish spinning. And then you play him with Donald Duck or the Luminary. Step 3, play Lana Del Rey and have 2 Know the Ways. And then you keep doing Know the Way on Know Your Way on Know Your Way on Know Your Way, and Lana Del Rey will keep gaining lore.
Okay,
excellent graphic.
Yeah, for those just listening to the podcast, Cody made a MS Paint version of his overview of it. And Lana Del Rey is code name for Alanadale, the card that says anytime you play a song, gain a lore. And so that's all. I'll explain really very quickly the steps of the combo, and then Mo can talk in depth, or not in depth, but give you some more like finite details on like why it sometimes works, why it sometimes might not. And so to Cody's point that he just made, if you draw your entire deck, We Know the Way says name a card. If you draw that card.
No.
What?
Just choose a card into the discard. You shuffle it into your deck. You're top part of your deck. If it is said card, you get to play it for free. Otherwise, draw a card.
So if you've drawn your entire deck with the location plus monstro, then you're going to name the correct card.
I have a drawing.
I know, but we also have audio listeners that aren't going to be able to see this. So if you've drawn your entire deck, you have Alan and Dale on the board, and you have a We Know the Way in the discard and a We Know the Way in your hand, then you can loop those two for infinite lore, because Alan and Dale will give you lore for every time you play the song. So with that very simplified overview, Mo can take again. He played this a very, very long amount of games one day this week to understand when the combo can and can't be guaranteed. And so, Mo, do you want to give a quick couple minutes on that?
So the basics is, if they start the turn with the location plus 2 other cards in hand, the combo is 100% unless they messed up and inked something earlier in the game, or tossed something early, or they do something poorly. But if they have lower amounts of cards, there's a increasingly less chance the combo can be successful. They can potentially do it with just the location, just by top decking it. But the lines are a lot more difficult and RNG based. There's no 100% line for either of those unless you have like 9 ink or more. And then the biggest thing is the Donald Duck is not the same as the location. They need bare minimum for the Donald Duck a truckload of ink, like 11 plus, or they need a combination of 4 characters on board or cards in hand. So if you have 3 characters on board, 1 card in hand besides the Donald Duck, the combo is fine. But otherwise, like if they have less, they cannot resolve it without 4 cards in their hand.
Yep. The premise behind that is that you have to have a certain amount of pieces to make the combo active. It's not just, the monstro and the location is what the quote combo is. There's a lot of other things with the We Know the Ways and the Alan and Dales that are required in order for that to be the one piece that's gaining the lore. And so if you don't have enough cards, you can't play all of the things that you need that turn to then set up the entire thing to make it the infinite money glitch, essentially. So to the initial point that the guys made about the combo, and like if you run into this at set champs, or if you do, if you are planning on going to Richmond and you play an opponent that is playing the combo deck, be wary of time. Obviously, we are actually talking about this last night, and we said if somebody is playing the combo, like I would probably call a judge the second that it like goes to that turn. I would say, Judge, like he's going to do the combo. I'm going to make him do it. Let's get this on with, because, they might take 15 to 20 minutes, like trying to figure out, fumbling through it. And at that point, like that takes your entire round. And so while you want to force them into doing it, because if you're having to draw, 20 to 30 cards out of your deck and discard them and do all of the different motions, like you very easily could mess it up. But B, it takes a lot of time, and again, it could take, like I just said, it could take your entire round, and so you don't want that to happen. And so it's just a very, I guess, tedious process to go through, and you want to make sure that you're not just throwing away a potential win that you could have, but also not forcing your opponent into a thing that's going to take 15 minutes and take up your entire round. So I like Mo said, or like they said, I would force them into, executing the combo. But I would also call a judge so that they don't take 45 minutes to execute said combo, and then your entire rest of the round is out. Especially if it's game 3 too. Like if you're into game 3 and they say they have it, then yeah, absolutely make them have it, because if they don't, then then you just win the game. But anyways, so I mean, any other tips that anybody has, that they want to talk through about playing against the combo deck, or anything else to keep in mind as this comes up, because as I think everybody's agreed upon, this is definitely going to be a thing. And so making sure that people are, ready for dealing with this is important.
I think just playing a green deck, having access to Mother Knows Best, and we don't talk about Bruno for the monstro, is very good. And apart from that, like blue decks with like Hades and stuff, so just having spot removal for the monstro would be key if there's a lot in your area or your set championships.
Sure. Cody?
Yeah, make sure your opponent rolls up their sleeves, because they could be a magician, hide cards there. That definitely would mess up most game plans.
There's a lot of ways for it to go south, a lot of ways for your opponent to mispilot it with low cards in hand. So sometimes they'll just give you a win for free, and that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait! I have one more.
Go.
If they have a boosted Cheshire Cat on board, make them do it, because if they don't bounce the cat, yeah, they could have had a combo piece under it, and they could mess up the whole thing.
I haven't thought about that.
There's
outs to it. There of you doing that?
Yes, and I had the owl. I had the elephant in my deck, but I didn't think about it, and I milled it, and then I realized, oh, this was my win condition, was bounce the elephant, bounce the cat, so I had 2 extra cards in hand, and I did not get there.
That actually happened to Zan in one of the stream games. I think it was the green-blue match that I was referencing earlier. I could be wrong in that one, but I know for a fact that he had gone through like half his deck and only had one We Know the Way, and knew he inked one earlier, and so there was only one left. And it was in fact under the Cheshire. And he did that. He bounced it with the elephant and got it back, and that's how. And then he like inked and then he was able to ink because he got to 2 cards, and so he was able to ink the Cheshire then and like do whatever he needed. But that did in fact happen. So again, to Mo's point, like there are very, very high number of ways that somebody can mess this up, and so don't just assume because they have the monstro plus the location that the game's over.
Yeah.
So what's y'all's prediction? Do you think we'll see this in top 8?
Richmond?
Yep.
Wouldn't be surprised.
It's a good deck. I mean, like we said, you know, when we started the episode and when we talked about last episode, I mean, Amber Amethyst actually does have a lot to offer, and as many people that had written it off early on in the set kind of showed that they just didn't understand the ramp with the lantern and all of the power of the Amethyst package, because initially, like, I was so high on it because I really enjoy the like kind of the ramp strategy of Blurple, but I despise Webby. Thank you, Mo. And so I was like, well, this just gets around Webby. Like, you have the ink, but you don't have the ink because it's not quote unquote in your inkwell, and so you're not getting the punish from Webby like you would against other decks. And so that kind of really made me excited about the potential of that. And really early on in the testing process, I kind of fell in love with it. And so, as Cody said when we started about posting the list and get the video out before everything happens with all the Zan stuff, it was a little bit of a bummer at the same time, because we felt like we had something kind of off the cuff that we were going to be able to keep tweaking a little bit, and maybe be able to take to Richmond and really take the room by surprise. But that obviously that cat's out of the bag now. So,
which, to be fair, we literally made a video of us talking about wanting and liking this deck. So
true, but we also have 100 views.
The cat was out of the bag before we released the cat out of the bag. It was very
but we also aren't like we aren't as big of a channel as Podcana or Zan's podcast, and so
what? We're not.
No, love your
like Short Digger's cat. We looked in the bag and it was already out.
Oh my God. Anyways, so yeah, I think it will be something to keep in mind for Richmond too. But I also think that this is one of those situations where people will start to learn how to play against it. And once you start to learn how to play against it, it's not quite as scary, because blue players will always hold a Hades. As Matt said earlier, if you're playing green, you have a Mother Knows Best or a You're Welcome. You hold one of them, so the monstro doesn't have the time to dry. I think there's a lot of ways to stop the combo. The challenge is that it's also just a very good deck with everything before you get to the combo, which is what makes it so difficult in my eyes. But will it make top 8? I don't know, but I do think it's a very solid deck for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll make top 32 probably, but I don't know if it'll necessarily go all the way. And also, I don't know you'll see high representation either.
It's so it's complex to play if you have to play it out. There's a lot of ways to mess it up and to do it fast, because you don't want to go to time. You don't want to lose a very winnable game or have it end up in a draw, which is essentially a loss in the new DLC format. Like you so I don't know how popular it will be. I do know it is very good. It's a deck with an OTK combo that it doesn't have to land the combo to win, which is recipe for success.
Yep. That's and again that's kind of the point I was just trying to make too, is, and just Mo just as usual says it much more eloquently than I did. If you have a strong deck that is going,
Hey, we're back to being a Riftbound podcast. Here we go.
A Riftbound podcast? Oh my gosh.
So Zach likes to do this thing where he bails the
Wait,
podcast.
I'm back. I'm already back.
And then we like talk, hey Zach, can you be quiet? So
Okay,
Zach
sure,
likes to
sure.
leave the podcast sometimes, and then we talk about Riftbound.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed out on that this time, but next time he leaves the podcast.
Yeah, that was about it. He's usually back by this moment.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just have really unstable internet, which is crazy because it's
I love how it
I'm all
pulls Microsoft
hardwired.
Paint
Like
again.
it's literally like full on hardwired. So I mean, I should have really reliable internet, but anyways. So that being said, are there any things that should be considered to be a strong counter to this? I know we said green and blue obviously have a lot of outs to the quote combo, but as this kind of shifts the overall metagame potentially, like what are some thoughts that people should consider to be not purple steel? Like if you don't want to play like the uber meta stuff, if you're not purple steel and you're not like blurple and you're not monstro, like what are some other options that people should consider for set champs?
I mean, I feel like there's definitely some things higher up than the monster deck, like blue green.
Sure. Yeah, I guess blue green is probably too. I mean, I don't know if Mo's talked about blue green in a while. He needs to get on his pedestal about it's perfect
honestly,
for.
I have an opinion. I am so over talking about blue green.
That's fine. Okay, well,
I think
don't
blue
talk.
green is an interesting deck. It still is completely good in the format, but I am so tired of high roll decks. I think I'm over it.
Oh, I'm so over it. I got high rolled in one of my matches at CCS, and it literally broke me. Luckily, it was the last round of the day, and so I could just go home and crash out after that.
You pick up the high roll deck, and it's like, this deck is terrible.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. I practiced it a little bit this week because I was like, well, maybe I do just want to be the person that tries to high roll and hope that I do. And then I played it, and I was like, no, this deck is terrible. I don't want to play this.
So some things to note about blue-green is yes, it is a high roll deck. It's a deck that rewards you for, like, it needs to see Clarabelle nearly every game to function against another powerful deck. That being said, it isn't a high roll deck that you can just like jump ship on and be able to pilot up to 100%. Without like a lot of experience. So it's really a bunch of sickos that main blue green out there in the world. No. I just mean like you have to really enjoy the play.
How often do we see blue green mains consistently topping?
They it's been a minute.
Yeah, there's the highs and lows of high school football.
Yeah, some fantastic blue-green players out there, and there's some people that know the deck to just like the highest extent, and I'm so impressed when they pull off the impossible game after game. But then there's also games that just draw like a nothing hand, and you just lose because it's kind of the nature of the deck.
I shouldn't even say this because it's the most, I would say, validation the deck has ever got, but in a room where purple steel, was expected to be one of the highest, if not the highest meta shares, and Zach Bivens has openly said multiple, dozen times that purple steel is his favorite deck, and is probably the best, if not one of the best, pilots of the deck. He bought blue green to CCS.
Yep.
Guess what? Didn't win.
No.
And also, like, you see some like, okay, so fanboy time. My favorite player in the game is Ed Chu, and he's been on blue green this entire set, and his version is just like, oh my god, it's just like such an Ed deck, but it still just obviously runs into its points where you have some non-games. And one of my least favorite things about modern Sapphire decks, I say modern because pre-rotation, you had Sapphire decks that could miss ramp and still have some powerful plays. Modern Sapphire decks are, you see ramp in your opening, you can construct a powerful mulligan around it. Otherwise, you're shipping 7 every game because it's correct. And I don't love that strategy. And I feel like that can hold the deck back in a bigger event as well.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a good point. You know, we've definitely talked about it in this context lightly before, but anytime you have to, you know, shape your mulligan around one specific card, you know, it can very much hurt you, because I know you specifically have said a bunch in the past that the mulligan is, you know, if not the most impactful or, you know, powerful mechanic in the game, one of. And if you're basically kneecapping yourself by not being able to fully utilize that power, that it, you know, handicaps your overall game plan or your early game plan, because you don't know what you're going to get after you mulligan. And so, yeah, that's personally why, again, another reason why I haven't, you know, enjoyed playing Sapphire near as much as I used to, but it's still, you know, it's very strong when you hit it, and you can make it very consistent to hit. So,
Yep. For sure.
Okay, so I think that pretty much finishes the topic of Monstro and CCS and everything else. I mean, I guess I can talk about my run real quick. I say I don't like playing Sapphire anymore. I did play Blurple. We thought it was kind of a good pick for the week, since I wasn't fully in on the Amber Amethyst train. Yeah, and with that said, Hayden is joining us, so not a better
Zach
time
still owes
than
me
forever.
Enchanted Cindy.
Yeah, I don't know what the context of that was, but if I have to pay up, then I have to pay up, I guess.
Check the tapes.
I know we've said that, and we've
The guy
said
who predicted CCS.
Now, did y'all distinguish which Enchanted Cindy? Because if I remember right, there's a pretty cheap one out
oh
there.
my gosh, he's gonna save me, and Mo's gonna save me on that one too, because no, we definitely did not. That one I know for sure.
Scammer gets scammed.
Sadly, I think it was the DLC.
I think it was.
Oh, there's also a really expensive. Hey, I have one of those.
Definitely not that one.
Well, one of the viewers said it
Need
was
an
the
extra.
Singapore DLC, so I think you're safe.
You're off the hook.
That's what
You'll
that's
think
what
it
the
for
word
the
on the
next
street is. But
incredibly dumb and Cindy that they print, because they love doing that apparently every other set now.
I mean, Cindy is just one of the most pun intended iconic card/characters.
It's actually not
So-
an iconic,
Actually-
so
Oh,
I said it was a pun. I said it was a
okay.
pun.
Well, it's not that either.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Crab get crabbed. I don't know at this point. Okay, Hayden, we'll get your 2 cents on
crab
Monstro
world.
real quick. I just said we were about to wrap up the Monstro talk. Give us your 1 minute spiel on the overall thoughts of how Amber Amethyst went, and if it's going to change the meta going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll change the meta going forward, just because there will be like a few people. I mean, there's definitely going to be people who copy it. I don't think the deck will thrive if it's one of the top decks. I think that's when it starts getting worse, when people start playing cards that are good against it.
All right,
But
let me
yeah,
ask you
I mean,
this then.
it was a
I
great
asked the question
choice.
to everyone. Do you think it'll make top 8 of Richmond?
No.
Oh,
Ooh.
Top 32.
Yeah, probably 1 or 2, maybe. Like Zan. I think the thing is like that deck is not going to be easy. I haven't played it very much, like that exact list, but I would wager over a 10 round, 12 round tournament, it's not going to be easy to play, and you can make mistakes. And
Yeah.
so, no, I don't think just like a normal player will be able to top that event with that deck.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, we definitely had the same overall thought that it is like quote unquote broken as the deck is. It's not just like hey, you play this deck and you get a broken combo. It's you kind of have to know what you're doing to get yourself to that point. But what else? Is there anything else on the horizon that anybody's like excited about with the respect to the to Richmond, or anything else that anybody thinks is going to be worth trying out? I know that there's obviously some stuff behind the scenes that we're talking about, but with that being a change and needing cards to answer that, is there anything else that excites? I mean, I know Mo is obviously like in the green purple camp, and so we don't have to ask him. But
we got to push the Metafy guide.
Well, that's dude, I do such a bad job of that. And with this, we'll take a
and
quick
with that
segue
segue
to our sponsors. Man, I need to do a better job about this. I
won't forget.
No, the problem is like when before like the quote unquote like Team Infinity rebrand, like we had a little script and we had a bunch of different like little mini segments before we like dove into the main topic of the week. And since there's so many more people now, and we all have just like a much larger conversation, I kind of scrapped that thought because it's like, okay, well, there's so much of us that, if we talk about one topic, we can go on for much longer because there's so many more opinions to go through and different perspectives to get. And so like all of that just like completely blew out my normal cadence for everything. But yeah, so with this quick break from our sponsors, we have to shout out Matified. We have a partnership with Matified now, where we have an affiliate link in the description wherever you're listening / watching this. If you want to get a custom premium foiled playmat, he does the best in the game. He does all of the standard mats for Lorcana, Pokemon. He's getting into Riftbound. I will say Riftbound. See, I'm
already in Riftbound.
Saying it. I know. I'm saying he's getting into it as in like he's doing the Riftbound mats now too. Is there anything? I swear he does the Magic one too. Yeah, he was at CCS and he had the Avatar Magic, the Gathering mats as well. And so no matter what game you're playing or what your characters are or your IP of choices, he's probably got one for you.
Final Fantasy for Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
so he just did that.
Yeah,
that's very popular.
That's super cool.
Yep. So we have partnership with them, and then we have a TCG Player affiliate link as well now. So if you want to buy any singles or you're shopping TCG Player, you can click our link and purchase whatever you're going to do anyways through our link, and that helps support us as well. And so a couple easy low lift ways to help support the team / the podcast if you want to. And then we plug Mo's Metafy guide. I actually have been shouting your Metafy guide out, Mo. If you do want to be a green purple player and you do want to play like Mo, he has probably the most comprehensive guide I've ever read for this set, and this set's green purple. So that's in the link, or the link to that's in the description as well if you want to purchase the guide and get a taste into the mind of a world class player. So
thank you.
I'm blushing. But yeah, so I'll actually kick it. That is a good segue back to where I was going on like some of the changes and stuff. And so since it's no secret that you're very much a green purple player and think that's a pretty good, solid, I don't want to say choice, but a good, solid, like just play style that you're used to is probably a better way to do it. What is there to be excited about for green purple given the current meta landscape and where we are going into Richmond?
Well, these red purple players came out there. They came out there guns blazing, and they just did me the greatest favor in the world. You know what they did for me, Zach? They brought blue decks back. Let's all give red purple players a hand. Thank you guys for that. So with the re-rise of Sapphire into the meta, green purple obviously has some pretty powerful play into them. So much so that I think it's pretty worth I think it's definitely worth considering green purple as a contender, even if it's not your home deck, your main deck of choice. It's still just something I would consider if I was you because of how well positioned it is into the Sapphire decks. The purple steel matchup is bad, but it's not as bad as it sounds or as bad as it can be with some experience. And yeah, it's definitely looking really exciting.
Yeah, we had a team call, I guess, Friday night, and we're just kind of chit chatting and hanging out and playing games and doing whatever. And Daniel, who hasn't been on in forever because he's super busy and has and he's a dad and had another kid a couple months back and is just always
get up to Daniel. Great dad.
Shout out Daniel for being the functioning member of society of the team. But no, he was on a ton at the beginning and hasn't been in a while. So yeah, shout out Daniel. But anyways, he was talking and he posed the question. He was like, everyone needs to lock in their colors now so that you can get get comfortable on it. And as much as I agree with that sentiment on the surface, it's very hard to do because there's so many unexplored things that we haven't, fully fleshed out yet. And so without having done that, it's very hard to, to commit to something. And so I guess kind of like going back to the opening line I had on, what are we excited for? What do we want to see? What do we think is an option? I think the thought process of like having to like lock in on something and perfect it is ideal. But also, I think a pipe dream, at least for some of us, because there's so, as I just said, there's so many unexplored opportunities that I want to see if there is something there, kind of like we did with Amber Amethyst. Maybe we can do it again. Yeah, there's definitely like a nice balance between, having a heading of what you want to do and locking something in, but also like not, or keeping yourself open to more new ideas that could be powerful. And so, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, I guess, on, trying to balance that equation of, locking in something so you can get really comfortable with it, but making sure you're not like closing yourself off to another potentially really strong deck out there.
Yes.
Hayden, I'll go to you since you're the new joiner of the episode.
I've got like 11, 12 different ideas I need to flesh out and try. So.
I know.
Respect.
Anywhere from 6 to 7.
Oh my God.
6.
I did the hand thing.
No, but I mean, y'all know I'm playing Red Steel.
Oh,
now.
Cody left us.
That's what I've been playing.
And he's back. And he's back. Yep. Hayden's been on a Red Steel kick. Hayden's been on a Red Steel kick, and I went from kind of memeing on him at first to, well, I didn't listen to you on Amber Amethyst at first, and I should have, and I gave you the time of day, and then it ended up working out. And so I think we've all kind of said, prove us wrong.
You've yet to play a game with it. The problem is y'all want me to do it all by myself and build a perfect deck that could come.
I don't want it to be perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. I just think that there's still weaknesses that.
That's the whole point of playing it, is to identify the weaknesses and fix them.
But you let me finish. Let me finish.
No, I refuse.
I think the weaknesses. I think the weaknesses that it shows don't have solutions to. That's the problem that I have.
I don't believe you know what you're saying, and I don't believe you believe what you're saying.
Oh my God.
You don't even know what you're saying.
I feel like you're just taking everything you've seen from Red Steel in the past and just applying it to this deck, which is not the same.
I would guarantee you. I mean, maybe I shouldn't guarantee this, but I'm going to. I'm going to stick to my guns. I will guarantee you, I've played more Red Steel than anybody else in this call besides you. You've probably done more, but anybody else, I've probably played the most.
That's true.
Hold up. What's that saying?
No, I doubt it. I played a lot too.
See, I knew you were going to be the one that would fight me on that, but I mean, I wish I could go back through all my logs and like look at my history of it, because there was a ton last set where I was playing One Last Hope Calhoun, do a bunch of crazy stuff trying to get that to work. And I know it's a different set, but I'm saying in general, like I have an idea of like the overall power level, because a lot of the stuff that you're still trying to accomplish with that is the same. And the amount, and yes, there are new cards that do help the overall strategy. And yes, there are a few things that do it, but in general, the core of it is still very much the same. You have the Red Singers, you have some of the same songs. I mean, you do have Thunderbolt now, but a lot of the same potential. Anyways,
I can guarantee this. We 100% have to be the most crash out team there is, because that's why we have such a wide spread of decks across all of us.
I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it didn't have Diablo. I'll say that.
It
didn't have Diago or Doc. It didn't have.
You know what, guys? Let's just all take Christmas to Richmond.
There's a lot of stuff.
I don't know what Christmas looks like, but let's just do it. It's Christmas. What's Christmas? Christmas, me Christmas.
Like I have at least like 6 set 10 deck cards in this deck.
I know, but that's what I mean. The core is still the same, and so. But anyways, so. I'm off the subject. I initially said that because whether it's this set or last set, I think like the reps have given me enough of an understanding to be able to evaluate like the overall gap in the game plan, at least is what I'm getting at. And
I just think when 30 cards are from the newest set, like it's hard for me to like be like, oh yeah, it's the same deck. You know what I mean?
You're on 30 cards of you just said 6, I thought.
Yeah, 6 4-ofs. That's 25.
Oh,
that was just a rough math.
Holy, that's a lot more than I thought. Yeah, okay, that's fair. But So here, my overall
It's
thesis,
really not
which
6 4-ups, but like it's about 20 to
I was gonna say that's
26
24 cards
or
You
something.
did lie to you.
my overall issue with Red Steel is that it gets its largest benefit through combat, and when you have a massive amount of evasive meta within the game plan, and you don't have combat threats to deal with that, then it just lowers the overall like capability of the deck.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but it's not like we don't have ways to deal with like evasives. Like there's 7 songs that clear genies, and the horseman and the Moana, and so it's not like there's nothing in the deck that like clears the evasives.
No, I definitely, and I agree. I think there are definitely answers, but I also think that if you're trying to get the biggest benefit out of the deck through combat, which I think you've definitely gone that route with the Mushus and with other things that, you know, kind of use that as your gap closer through the combat lore, that if you don't have those pieces in board, then the rest of that combat advantage goes away.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is we should play more evasives. It's not like we can't do that.
I mean, I think what I'm saying is you need to play purple, but
Oh God, these amethyst players.
Oh, shut up.
I know.
You just want me to spend all this money on Demonas and on Hades.
On
Tough life out here. I just want to play Red Steel.
Okay, what's your second most thought about theory now after Red Steel?
Thought about?
Just I mean, we're just shooting
you said you had
down
like
the list here. Yeah, you said you had
6 or 7
12.
different ideas.
Well, I mean, thought about probably Sapphire Amber. I probably thought about that deck the most, but I haven't played it at all. Like I haven't built a deck and like really played it since the first week these cards were announced, probably.
And Cody's right. We're definitely like going to be known as the crash out team and just like or off the wall or wacky or
we have to be the team that like shows up to an event and like we like land at land the flight, make the char drive, we get into the hotel or Airbnb, and we have no idea what we're playing in the tournaments the next day. We bring everything. We're like, we will play something.
Hey. That's a post-rotation practice we've taken upon ourselves. Pre-rotation, we were all great at this.
No, I would say all of the I was
Oh
not.
my God, Mo.
I always just made the terrible decision to just fall back into to red blue, and then after the tournament be like, yeah, that was a dumb decision, but I did it again. I'm pretty sure I did that like 5 times across different tournaments. But
yeah, and it's probably what you're saying is probably my fault. I mean, I guess for like not
no.
I blame rotation.
I think it's Zach's fault.
I don't know.
I mean,
go.
So, I mean, I'm trying to do all this different stuff, but I think that's part of the work. Like, it's if you want to be a great player, if you want to be someone who calls yourself like a player of Lorcana and you're trying to win, and we're like all of us are, like you're doing yourself an injustice by not like figuring this stuff out. Like, it feels like what we're ended up saying is I trust everybody else out there to tell me this deck isn't good enough, but I don't trust anyone else out there to tell me these decks aren't good enough. You know what I mean? Like I realize now I'm going to have to do it myself or it's not going to get done.
No, that's definitely fair. I don't think, I've very much over the past, 2 months, like come to that same conclusion. I mean, especially like, I think Bologna was probably like the eye-opening place right there where we were all together and we said like we can't just like follow the path anymore. And I know I've said that in the past, like long time ago, but I never had the I guess the resources to really make that a reality, and I feel like we do now. And so I'm definitely not like hating on the Ruby Steel by any means. I'm just very skeptical in the sense of we've seen how much time it takes to like fully flesh out an idea, and I know there's plenty of time until Richmond. But using all of that time on one idea that might not work and then like coming up to the week of and be like, okay, I've been like testing this one idea that I like had this really good theory about, and now I'm finally off of it. And like, you don't have a choice but to fall back to like the meta option then at that point. And so I like the balance between like fully fleshing out like something that's not tested at all and like getting it fully to its absolute max potential to trying out 3 or 4 different things that have some sort of potential but haven't been fully fleshed out, and deciding which one of those needs to be given more of the time is like, there's just like so many variables. And so like, that's what gets me is like, there's other things that we've also said we want to try or that we think have potential and are probably further along and we have more faith in. And so it's not about an inability to believe in the idea or an inability to believe in you or an inability to like think that you could be right. It's more, it's like, this is so unproven and needs so much work. And if we're going to all go in on this hill, and then we all have to be ready to die together on this Ruby Steel hill. And that's what I'm not, and that's what I'm not sure I'm ready to do
or
yet.
Arc Raiders.
Yeah, I mean,
does that
obviously,
make sense? Sorry. So again, like that,
No,
that's
sure.
all I'm trying to say is like, it's not that it's not a thing or it couldn't be a really good thing. It's like, there's so much time and resources to devote to it. And I don't want that to be like all my time and attention, given the amount of work I think it needs to get to its
close now
absolute peak.
for this type of crash out. Maybe next DLC.
I mean,
I
guess the problem is like it's different because like I'm playing more games, so like I can play as many games with metadecks and then also still play 40 games with Red Steel in a day, and we both play the same amount of games, you know. So it's like I feel like if I'm investing that time, I should be doing it with the way that gives me the most reward.
Sure.
And I don't think playing like if I, figure out a Ruby Amethyst deck that plays 6 to 8 new cards and I be like, okay, this is really good. Like the amount of like it's not going to get that much better. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
I don't think it's like the amount of returns you're getting on that is as high as like with Red Steel and with these other decks. And when you go to the tournament, like it's completely different when you're playing a deck that no one knows how to play against. That's versus like a deck that pretty much they already know how to play against, but it's just like optimized for this tournament. Like I would much rather. Like I don't think I'm giving myself that big of an advantage doing that. That's why I really like feel like I need something new at this point. Honestly, like I feel like I need something new off the wall. Like if I don't come up with something, I'm just playing whatever Emerald Amethyst deck Mo brings. Probably.
I love it here.
You still got Amber Amethyst in the pocket.
No, I mean not really. Like because I don't think I can invest any more time, like trying to make that deck better. And I'm not playing. Like I don't think I can learn. Like I could learn that combo, but I don't see.
No, I'm talking about the our version.
See, I know, but we're gonna have to, and that's like Zach said, that's a time investment. Like we have to at least dedicate 2 to 3 more days trying to make it better, and then decide is it worth like the next time.
I already think that's a great deck.
But is it gonna? But I think his other point is like, am I going to be able to make it better than the combo version of that deck? And I think the answer is probably no, unfortunately, just because it's it has one of the best closers in the game, and I don't think we can go fast enough with an opposing Horseman deck, Horseman Strikes deck, to be able to just like get it across the finish line. Because I think our secret sauce at the time was Ursula, and being able to just like have a really massive evasive body that quests for a bunch. And if your opponent is playing Horseman Strikes, then that kind of negates all that. So
does it? I thought the deck was good in the red purple.
Not red purple into like opposing Amber Amethyst monstro decks.
Oh, but I don't think I mean I at least don't think that's going to be a majority of the meta share.
I mean that's fair too.
I think it is an interesting thought though. Now, whenever you play against somebody with Amber Amethyst, they're automatically assuming you're on Zan's deck. So they're
that's fair.
So
that's fair.
They're holding their Hades, right? Like they're not ever playing that Hades before because they're just going to wait for Monstro. But I think that's interesting.
That's a fair point.
True, sell yourself back on it.
I could. I'm probably gonna still play it. Like when I'm like, I'll play 10 Red Steel games, and I'll probably and then when I lose 3 in a row or 2 in a row, then I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna take a break, and I'm probably just gonna go play Amber Amethyst or whatever else is next on the list.
But then that's my that was kind of the question I was making earlier on, like, at what point do you if you've got all of these ideas, at what point do you say, like, okay, it's finally time to start like putting reps into Amber Sapphire or putting something else into that's like completely off the wall? Because I think I hate being like, I feel like I'm being super negative, and I'm not at all. It's more just like trying to like harass, like wrangle the energy that you have, because it's, again, such an unproven, untested thing that I just don't think you can bounce around that much. I think if you want to do something that's untested and fully like unexplored, like solidified or whatever, then you kind of just have to like choose one of those paths and then like have a fallback plan, and you can't just like jump around.
I mean, maybe, but I feel like I'm pretty good at like being able to evaluate the potential of the deck and like why it went right and why it went wrong. And like when I play a game, like I'm running it back versus like 10 alternative realities. Like if they played this, if I played that, if they played this, and then if I played that. And so like I feel like I'm simulating 10 games. No, probably not. I probably am not. But like right now, and a lot of it comes to like in my head, like I'm simulating games in my head, thinking about stuff in my head. Like if I found a Sapphire Amber deck that I thought like was a good idea and like had potential, and I came up with it in my head and I wanted to try it, then I'm just gonna try that until it proves me wrong. And like this Red Steel deck, it's still in my head because it hasn't proved itself wrong to me. Like most of the games I lose because of a misplay. Like I lose because I didn't know what to do, not because my cards didn't like give me the access. And that's when I know that like, okay, maybe this deck like does need to be played more. Like, and I have 5 different versions of Red Steel. Like you should see my Google Drive that has like ideas for Red Steel. There's like 5 different versions, and they're all like significantly different.
It was like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I love that show.
What's the name?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No, y'all know what I'm talking about. The board.
Oh,
Pepe Sylvia.
Pepe Sylvia. Yeah.
Which I think is supposed to be Pennsylvania. Funny enough.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that I'm glad you brought that up and we kind of had that conversation, because again, I think we talked a lot about that last time on like once you have an idea and like exploring it. But I also think for people that don't want to play meta stuff and don't want to just be another meta Andy, that there is a world out there, and kind of some of that thought process that goes into, well, when should I give up on this, or how do I keep testing it, or when what's the ceiling of this deck, and things like that always come up. And so understanding someone who does grind more than anybody I know, like seeing their thought process behind new decks and new ideas, and understanding that it might not be the cards, or might just need to be different cards, whatever the case might be, is I think just cool to again get some of that insight into.
And like what you're saying, I think about it every single day, Zach. Oh my God, am I wasting my time? Did I just waste my time playing 30 games of Red Steel in this morning when I got off work? Like
he gets done 10 rounds of Red Steel, gets a cigarette, he's gonna crack a beer.
Oh no.
No, but like I think about that stuff every day, and it is like the hardest thing I'm dealing with right now, probably, like not like inside my personal life, but yeah, I don't know. I think I need to, what I'm going to do myself is give myself over the next 2 days, give myself a deadline for Richmond where I give up on playing these other things and focus on like, just the backup plan, I guess, like you said.
But what is the backup? What is your backup plan? Is it
Emerald Amethyst?
Emerald Amethyst? I think that's where I'm at too. So
are we all just no gamers now?
I think so. I mean, there's no reason not to be.
Like I think there is something
I'll
to
leave
be
my
said about.
I'm 100% taking green purple to Richmond.
It's good to know. I mean,
I think the deck is great.
It's fantastic. It's so strong.
Yeah, it has like the best tools. I think like
I read the
best variety of tools.
That's what I think too. I genuinely like on paper, green purple I think does have the best tool set of any deck. Like you have access to Philip, you have access the Philip combo, you have access to all of the monster answers you could possibly need. You have access to all of the amethyst draw cards you could possibly need. You have access to like I think basically everything strong that's in the current meta.
We have
And so,
we have access to the best card in the game right now.
which is
Go.
You. Oh no, that's not what I was talking about.
are you gonna say Webby?
Of course, I was gonna say
Okay,
Webby.
that's what I assumed. But yeah, I mean, I really do
Day
think
one,
that,
baby. Let's go the Mets.
yeah, I
Webby's
haven't
so good.
I haven't locked anything for myself for Richmond down, but I've like I don't want to say locked, but I very much pushed myself into a Webby corner. Whatever that Webby corner looks like, I don't know yet, but I do think, as Mo mentioned earlier, on the rise of Sapphire because of the more curve heavy meta that we've seen since the reemergence of red purple. Webby just gives you, if you're able to get a Webby early against any blue deck, it's like they have a massive uphill battle where they can't misstep after that. And so that just, is a very big portion of the room that you have a massive favoritism into. So I enjoy that a lot. And, I think there's a lot of other potential to, build the deck however you want. And obviously with Mo being, green purple, there's a lot of, resources we have to be
Call
very
him green purple, like the entity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have with
He is.
I have become green purple.
we have a lot of very strong resources to make us all better green purple players too. So, but anyways, I think that's all I've got for today. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about with with respect to the meta after CCS or getting ready for Richmond or set champs or off the wall decks or any of the above?
This is the widest meta I think we've ever had in Lorcana.
I agree.
Set 8 was very wide. People thought it was all Steel Song. No, Set 8 was probably one of the most, like, you could play any color combination and get away with it sets. But,
Yeah, but it's different, right? Like, because in that set, sorry for interrupting you, but in that
No, you're
set,
okay.
they were so high powered. I felt like there was like 6 or 7 different decks, and they were all like really high powered, and they had like fleshed out lines that they wanted to do. Right now, I don't
Yep.
feel like it's as like that as much.
No, yeah. There's only like a handful like that. I think more of the story is I think you honestly could take any color pairing to Richmond, but you got to know what the deck does and make sure it's good.
Mhm.
Like every color has good stuff right now.
I truly feel like every deck can beat every deck. I do feel like
Yeah.
there's good matchups. I feel like there's bad matchups. But at the end of the day, I think I wouldn't be surprised to see a ton of different color pairings in the high rankings of Richmond. It's just all about finding the mathematical percent you're happy with your projected matchup spread.
Yeah.
So basically, if you show up and lose to Amber, Sapphire, Detectives, don't be upset. That deck can.
I'm
win.
gonna be so
Yes.
upset because I'll be
Yeah.
like, why didn't I do that?
It's out there. It's out there.
And honestly, there's 2 other steel color combinations that I want to try. Like, I'm already on a different one now.
I think I
what
know
would
what
that one
you're
be?
saying, and I'm pretty sure we've all talked
Yeah.
about that one too. So we're still
Uh-huh.
keeping that one a little closer to the chest still.
I know.
It's purple steel. We're just BSing all of y'all.
Yeah, we're all
Show
taking
up
purple steel.
steel.
Don't y'all have egg on y'all's faces?
Guys, I know you've never seen anybody else play purple steel, and we should not have let that out of the bag. So
Moral-
far away from Richmond.
Moral of the story: play whatever you want and whatever you like playing, and don't let people tell you it's bad because you can always make it better.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
sorry, Mo. I think that's, I mean, every one of those content creator tier lists. I mean, there was a massive thing on Twitter about people making tier lists of tier lists because everybody did it. And every single one of those, they had an Amber Amethyst at don't play, it's a joke tier. And so Hayden's right. Just play what you want and learn the deck inside and out. Go, Mo. I won't cut you off again.
oh no, you're good. You're good. There's a lot of hidden surprises out there. So just keep your eye open. Just play. We're here to have fun. Like, I know it's really important for all of us to win. I, more than anything, want to get back to Worlds and give it another shot. To get so close but not quite make it, I want to get back there. I want to do what I can do.
But
But
your kid to second college.
yeah, I got to send my kid to second college. But at the end of the day, we do this because we love it. We do it because it's fun. And it's going to be a chaotic field. And if you just try to control it, if you spend the next month of your life over the holidays sweating every single matchup you might run into, you can't control it. Play what you're best at and go with that.
That's a beautiful way to sign it off, I think. I don't think we can beat that. So
I have one last question I
Oh
want
my
to ask
gosh.
everyone. No,
Yeah.
this is a real thing.
okay, go.
Don't be rude to me.
Go.
There was 2 cards spoiled for the next set.
Oh yeah,
Anna, and do you want to build a snowman?
Oh yeah. We can talk about this real quick, but we do need to.
I just wanted to give
we do
a
need to
small
do
opinion.
it.
Because I am just aggressive with my takes. I will say right now, I am so upset that is what do you want to build a snowman ended up being.
So, do
Me
you
too.
want to build a snowman as a 3-cost uninkable that says opponent chooses yes or no? Yes, you gain 3 lore. No, they choose a character of theirs and put that card to the bottom of their deck.
It's what cost is it again?
3 cost uninkable.
3 is unfortunate, but I do think if it's an interesting aggro tool because it's
It's an
kind of
aggro
win-win in
tool.
a way.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Yeah.
an aggro tool.
I think it is like one of the better ones of the
Yeah.
pick cards, but man, that is not the same as like a Hades where they get to keep a body afterwards.
Yeah, but it's to most point, I think it's very much an aggro tool. But then you have the Ana. It's a 5/5, costs 5. That's inkable. That says if a card left a player's discard this turn, this card gains shift 0. And then whenever this character quests, you may gain lore equal to the lore of a character card in your discard. If you do, put that card to the bottom of your deck. So there's a lot going on there.
Seems really cool.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I think the best things about this card are whatever they release next set. A shift 0 is potentially very strong.
Crazy.
If you shift it on like turn 1 or turn 2,
Crazy.
like you can't do it on turn 1, but if you shift it on like turn 2, that opens up a lot of potential out there, and I think
Wait,
that's
what do you-
cool.
What do you have to do to shift it for 0?
You'd have to have something leave your discard, so there'd have to be a way. Yeah, so probably not doing it that early, but
Is
there
it
are
leave your
definitely-
potentially
discard or
turn 2?
a discard?
if a card left a player's discard this turn.
That's what
Yeah.
it means.
So it's definitely got some potential, but it also could be a card that just falls flat because it didn't receive support throughout the set. But it's Ana. It's a frozen character. I'm sure it'll be broken.
Also, I do like the card even without shifting it, just because it is
Sure.
like a big body that's inkable and it does gain lore just from doing its thing.
Sure.
I think it's really neat.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, we need to talk about that a little bit more in depth next time at the beginning of the episode, where we might not have had lost some listeners. But that being said, we will end here, and the next couple episodes are just going to be fun ones. So if you just want to hang out, have a good time, we're going to kind of give a recap of the year, talk about some of the fun highlights and some of the things that we enjoyed about the year, and then talk about I think there's probably going to be some more set 10 stuff before that. So we're going to talk about some set 10 stuff. And then just some more not like super sweaty meta talk. So join us for the rest of the year, because obviously we've got a little bit until Richmond, and we don't want to just keep regurgitating the same like meta nonsense. So we're gonna have a just a couple fun couple episodes for the holidays, and then get into the meta stuff again at the beginning of the year. So with that said, everybody, if this is the last time we talk to you, it's just a little bit before Christmas now. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, and hope everybody has a good one. Thanks as always for listening. We'll catch everyone next time.
Bye.
Stay classy,
Present for
San
this year
Diego.
is us.
Bye, guys.